2, 1.
Hi, I'm Danny Queen. Welcome to another exciting edition of Color Me Poetry today. I have a beautiful young lady with us, and she's a Leo, y'all, in case you want to know. And her name is Alqamar, and Malik, that is. And what is the name, Alqamar? Malik? It's Alqamar.
Alqamar means the moon.
The moon, wow. That means Leo moon, y'all.
I ebb and flow between fire and water.
I know about you Leos. But so your birthday is the 29th of
July.
July. Oh, you July. Oh, okay. Oh, that's beautiful. So you're born on the 29th.
I am.
And that means that's 11.
Okay.
And that's the mastodon. That's the 2. Emotion.
Emotion?
Okay. Emotion, family, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do a show on the numbers later on when I put up my new book, which is going to be the Life in Full Circle. That's going to be in July. I'm sorry, June. May and June it will be out. But today we want to talk about your book, Tangled Web.
A Tangled Web.
Is that a web of circumstance or a love triangle or what?
Oh man, it's a little bit of both actually. This was a 5-year birthing for me.
Really?
And yes, it is a novel. That's usually most people's first question. Is this story about you? No, it's not about me. It's not a personal story. It is a novel. It's centered in New York City. It's about 4 entrepreneurs who are navigating their way through the entrepreneurship world and their private lives and how both of those interject, because their lives come together
They intertwine
in a tangled way.
Oh, wow.
Hence the tangled web.
Tangled way meaning what? They cross lines.
Yeah.
What,
So they
personal and business.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. And all that entails in our society specifically as it relates to black people.
You know, they say you should never mix business and pleasure. But, I mean,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, you probably
That's
should.
what
But
they say.
It happens.
All the time.
I ain't intend for it to happen like it happened because it happened. I had to cut the tie with a knife down the middle. Okay, this is this.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just life.
All
Life
the
just
time.
happens.
It happens all the
and
time.
no more to it than that. It just happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But how did this book come about?
Ooh.
The birthing pains.
Birthing pains. Well,
Yeah.
I've been a writer all my life. That's my first love.
How did you start? Let's start there.
Oh gosh, it's like when had I not wrote? I've just always been
As a child.
a love of the written word. In love, yeah, ever since I was a child. You know.
You remember any of your first writings?
Yes, actually, it wasn't one of my first writings, but my mom kept a poem that I wrote when I was like 11, about my brother, family. Funny you said family about Leo, because that's, really, central for me as well. But I wrote it about my brother. At the time, he and I were 2 years apart. He's no longer with us.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear
Yeah, he was killed when he was 17. Excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were
Just the two of you?
No, it's 8 of us.
Oh, it's 8.
8 of us. Yeah.
10 of us, but
yeah. And I wrote that poem about my brother, just being a sibling of his and watching how he was maneuvering through his own life. And I felt strong enough to write about it. And I was about 11, 12 years old. So
he was 2 years old?
He was 1 year older than me.
1 year, okay.
Yeah, we were 1 year apart.
And did
He
this
was 1
something
year older.
in you that engendered you to be able to say something?
About that in
about
particular?
this. Yeah. Oh, that in general.
Yeah.
About his life in general.
Yeah, I tend to do that. I tend to kind of revert to the written word about things that I'm most passionate about. So yeah.
Wow.
Or I feel strongly about.
And it's always been that way?
Always. As far back as I can remember.
So what did your mom think, even at that age?
Yeah, she kept it. That's what surprised me. She kind of presented it to me about 5 years ago. She said, take a look at this. And I was like, wow, this handwriting looks familiar. Because, we none of us handwrite like we, back in the day like we used to. It's all in type form. But,
wow.
Yeah.
But as a child, for you to have that gift to come to you like that, I mean, it wasn't.
My father was a writer.
Oh, your father.
Yeah, and a strong orator. So I think it just came to me
So
naturally.
it could be, yeah, genetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else in your family who wrote?
Who, like I do, I don't recall. No, I probably picked up more of his attributes than any of my other siblings.
Now, so this was your first publication? Your first
Yeah,
writing?
my first publication, yeah.
But you did poetry before, so you
Oh,
were a
yeah.
poet before.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of people seem to start as poets, and sometimes they move to other things, and sometimes, they just poets.
Maybe because it's just like a shorter version of of writing a
Well,
full book or manuscript.
it's interesting because people used to always say to me, because I've always been a poet. I've been like 9 books of poetry, and people always say to me, some people anyway, when you gonna write a real book? I'm kind of offended by that. What is that?
I would be too.
What does that mean?
Right.
I mean, a real book? Well, all these books are real.
Right.
So I'm like, what does that mean? A real book. A real book. They mean a novel.
Oh,
Well, everybody's not a novelist.
that's true.
Yeah, some people.
And a lot of people love poetry.
Well, yeah.
So-
And some people are novelists and poets, and some people are essayists, and many different types of writers. People are journalists.
Right.
So there's many different types of writers. So when people say that, I'm like, I'm not sure what that means. I
Right.
feel kind of offended by it.
I would too. I don't mind. I
Yeah.
don't blame you. I would be offended too because that's your love. It's your passion.
Yeah, it is
And somebody
indeed.
take that for
So
granted.
what was the process for this particular book, Alqamar?
There really wasn't one. I
Mm-hmm.
just knew I wanted to write a story, and
Where did the idea come from?
the top of my head.
Oh,
Yeah, I just sat down to write, and that's what came out. So yeah, I didn't have any previous plans around it or anything
and it's
else.
not personal.
Mm-mm. It's not
Just
personal
something you
at all.
wanted to say.
No. Now, I would imagine every writer, and you can vouch for this
Mhm.
possibly,
Mhm.
puts a little bit of themselves in all their work. You
Well,
can't just do
yeah.
a full-fledged body of work and not,
Have some of yourself in it.
yeah, subconsciously,
Yeah, so there's a little bit of you in each character.
possibly.
So did they speak to you? How did the characters come to you?
Like I said, I just sat down to write. They really
Each one come individually to you, or they all came at one time and said, okay, we all got stories to tell, and we're going to tell it through you.
Exactly. The latter.
So-
The
so-
latter.
Yeah, so you get to be the vessel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I guess because I'm an entrepreneur, there's myself
Right.
in the story
Yeah, you
because
are.
all 4 characters are entrepreneurs,
Okay.
and main characters anyway are entrepreneurs, and so yeah, that's a part of me.
And
then-
you're an entrepreneur.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So I guess that kind of flowed
Now,
naturally.
have you always been an entrepreneur?
Yes,
Really?
that too. Yes.
Since how long?
Well, I was the candy lady for my neighborhood when I was maybe about 14.
Wow. You sold candy
Yeah,
to other kids?
candies and ices. You remember those? Where you
Yeah, I
used to
remember
put like
ices.
Kool-Aid in cups and
That's
freeze
right.
them, and
Yeah.
then
Oh, I grew up on Kool-Aid. Remember you was growing up and then your mama had Kool-Aid, these kids be in the refrigerator, and then it'd be about that much, and then there'd be about this much sugar in the bottom, and you stir it up and drink it. And my mama would always say, who put the pitcher back in the Kool-Aid? Ain't no Kool-Aid in it. That kind of stuff.
right. So
Yeah.
I always been an entrepreneur as far as I can remember.
Really? Well, that's interesting.
Now
Okay,
I had other jobs. I've
Mhm.
had 9 to 5s
Yes.
and other jobs where I went punch time clock. But yeah, I've always been like
It's interesting you said it because coming up as a teenager, I never had a part-time job.
no.
No, I went door to door and sold poetry, and my friends and some of the family thought I was crazy.
Wow.
But I would come back with pockets full of money.
Mm.
I would have these little frames that I would do, and my cousin would type it up on a typewriter, so go back up and put it in the little frames. And then on Saturdays, I would go out and sell them. I did that every week.
Wow.
Nothing like this.
Right.
But I knew this printer, and he would print stuff up for me. I saved me a little money. And then on Saturdays, I'd go door to door and sell it
Oh,
to people.
interesting.
So that's what I did as
Right.
a teenager. I never really had a part-time job or nothing like that.
So poetry has always been a part of your life then.
Yeah. Of course, I got a quote unquote real job later, but as a teenager, I never had a part-time job. I just
okay.
did what I did. Of course, my friends thought something was wrong with you or something like that. But no, that's what I did. Door to door. I wouldn't do it now. You know, nowadays that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was when I was kind of as a kid, it was a different kind of environment.
True.
As a matter of fact, I remember one time with this lady who lived in Laurel, a community called Pumpkin Hill, and I would come around on Saturday, Miss Peggy, and she would always say, "Come here, boy, let me see what you got in that bag." She's always said,
Oh,
and
she
I would
wanted
go.
to see.
She wanted to
Yeah.
see, and because she knew my parents and everything, so she would buy stuff from me, and
Yeah.
her kids would say, "Daddy Queen, we got no way to put our pictures in the house because Mama got all your poems on the wall." You know? Stuff like that.
Hence
you know?
how people love
But
poetry.
I appreciate that. When I look back on it, as you know, being a teenager, when I look back on it now, it's like, wow, that was something because it encouraged me.
Yeah.
It really encouraged me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
So
all right.
let's talk about the birthing pains of this book.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
I know there were some.
Oh, yes, 5 years. Of
5 years in the making.
5 years. I put it down for months at a time. I picked it back up.
This is a
and-
special baby here, y'all. 5
yeah,
years.
it is, and I rewrote it like 7 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I'm not educated through schooling to write.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
know,
didn't
my,
major
the
in
highest.
English or nothing like that.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I took college courses
Okay.
in English, but I
Mhm.
never finished.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but so I'm not. I guess you would call somebody like that polished in their
Well, no.
in their
Well, but I always say, no matter how polished you are, and of course, I'm not knocking writing or creative writing or anything like that, but you can have all that, but the spark for the writing has to come from the person.
Yeah.
Nobody can teach or
I
give
certainly
you that.
agree
You
with
got
that.
to have that.
I certainly agree with that. I can vouch for that.
Yeah,
Sure
you
enough.
have to have it.
So yeah, because in 9th grade was the highest I went in public schooling, and then I had ran into. I was a knucklehead, so
Oh,
I
okay.
dropped out of school and had a child very young, and and then I kind of got back on track. Took my GED and passed that, and put myself in college, and so for about a year and a half, I took college courses, but I went straight to English literature.
And at the same time, you're still working on giving birth.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I kind of backtracked. That was in my way past.
Oh, way before this.
right.
Before you started
way
giving birth.
before, but that was like all the school knowledge that I
Okay.
had in writing was that little bit in English literature.
Did
But-
you like English in school?
Oh yes.
Or English literature?
Oh yes, that was always my favorite subject. Always.
It was my
Yeah.
favorite too, because I was an English major. in
Always.
college. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a mentor, and I remember being in English class at Bowie State University in the day, y'all. And my mentor was Dr. Smith, and she used to always have me sit in front of the class. I used to be, "Doc, why do I have to sit in front?" She said, "Because you're an English major, you got to be the example." I'm like, I was liking this little girl. I used to sit at the back by her, and she said, "Queen, you sit up here." I'm like, "Doc, why do I have to sit in front? You're the English major. You got to be the example." You know. So it's those those kind of things that made me a better student.
Yeah, there was
Really
one
was.
teacher, and I'm so bad with names and all that. People can remember all their favorite teachers' names and all that. I'm just not good for that. But there was a teacher, I think maybe in the 2nd and 3rd grade, I had.
Yes.
There was she used to always tell me I was gifted in writing and that I should keep it up.
Really?
So she
Wow.
was kind of my strong
She planted
encouragement
that
back
seed.
then. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And even in when I went to take the exam for college, prep college, and it got to the point where I had to write an essay, and I
Yes.
got excited about
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, and I
Wow.
wrote it, and they actually put me in what do they call it, advanced
Okay.
classes for
Yeah.
writing, based on my score in English. That was the highest score I received.
Now, were you a kid who liked to read?
Oh yeah.
How important is reading, you think, for writers?
I mean, that is. I mean,
Everything.
yeah.
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 I
I mean,
read all the time.
oh yeah.
My mentor, the late Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, always said to us, in her meetings, read 2 or 3 newspapers a day. Go through 2 or 3 newspapers at least a day. Because, you have to feed your mind.
Yes,
And as a
sir.
writer, that's where ideas are formed. So I'm always telling young people, they come to me, "Oh, Mr. Queen, why don't you read my poetry?" I say, first, what's the last book you read? They're like, "Well, Miss Quay, and they started stumbling. But I'm like, because that's important. If you say you want to write, you have to read.
Books saved my life. They really
Really?
did. Oh yeah, they really did. Yeah. Because like I said, when after 9th grade, I was out of there. So
Really?
I taught myself.
Really?
But through different life skills, through books.
Now,
Yeah.
did you have any favorites? Any favorite writers?
Way back when I was young, Judy Bloom. You
Judy
remember
Bloom.
Judy Bloom?
No.
Yeah, she was an author. She used to write all these teen
I remember
novels
Nancy
and
Drew.
stuff. No, Judy Bloom. I used to like her books.
Really?
For some reason or
Was there
another.
any other favorites?
I wrote. I read them all. Like all the top scholars, Nikki Giovanni.
Oh, yeah,
and
love
the,
Nikki, yeah.
like I said, I'm so bad with names. What's Love Got to Do with It? Author the.
Oh, that's
who am I thinking
what's love
of?
got to do with it?
The one that
Oh, you're thinking of I can't call her name. Yeah.
I forget, but I wrote
yeah,
them all.
a lot
Then-
of books.
And I went through that phase, and then I went through another phase of reading
Waiting to Exhale.
nonfiction. Waiting to Exhale. Oh my
I
gosh,
can't
what's
call
her
her
name?
I know, I'm drawing a blank myself. But
Right.
y'all out there, y'all know.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, y'all know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you read all of those too?
All those, and I went through a phase of reading those type of novels, and then
Did you read any Maya Angelou back then?
No, I don't think I read any of her books. No, a lot of her poetry and stuff,
Yeah.
but none of her books.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I went from there to nonfiction.
Okay.
A lot of history books, and
Wow. So
a
you.
lot of scholarly, lecturely books and stuff.
Wow. So books have really, been a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting now, just based on your question and how, because I never really stopped to think about that, and how I navigated through different genres. Because like certain periods of my life, I would gravitate to certain genres of books.
And certain things that appeal to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I was always the kind of person I loved reading, but I would read things where they appeal to me. Not if I thought it was something that I needed to read. Wasn't I would read it anyway. But yeah, reading has always been a big part of my life. I got more books at home.
Yeah, me too. Even the economic piece, I went through a piece where
Really?
I really wanted to hone in and get my finances straight. And so for a few years, that's everything I could find my hands on, put my hands on that related to building wealth and
That's so
all that,
important.
getting out of debt, and all that stuff, real estate. Invested in real estate and all that stuff.
So you've always had that entrepreneur spirit,
Yeah.
and so your new book is just a part of that. It's a stepping stone.
A journey through that.
A journey.
Angle
Wow.
that for me, please.
Yeah.
I interrupt. A tangled web.
A tangle web. Oh, let me.
To,
Okay.
what I'm saying, but understand. Angle.
Okay.
Try
Yes.
that. Do that.
Yeah.
'Cause the
That
Bible-
tangle web. You gave birth to that in 5 years.
It was a 5-year birth. It
5
took from
years,
beginning to end. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could have had 5 kids by then.
No doubt. It is 5 kids in here.
It's like 5 kids in the book.
Yeah.
Wow. Now let's talk about some of the. Well, first I want to say, was it hard writing this book?
It was not hard to tell the story. But to get it to get it from beginning to end, it was like, it was definitely.
So
one of
how
those
often did you work? Did you get up in the morning and write all day?
That's
Oh,
again,
several
I
hours?
wasn't disciplined in that area either. That's why it took so long, because there were
okay.
times
So
where I
you were
would,
right on when the spirit hit you.
when the spirit hit me, yeah.
Which
and-
means those characters came to you.
yeah,
Say, okay, I got something to say.
right,
Set it on down.
Right.
I got something I'm gonna drop on you.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how did the characters come to you?
They just came. They just kind of flowed. I started with one character, and then like I said, I didn't even know what I was going to do with this book at all. It was a blank page on
Wow, yeah.
paper and in my mind until I just started to write, and then what came out.
Tell
I
a
just
story.
and then just build on from the first story to the next, the first character to the next. So I'm writing about
But you gotta
one,
make
I'm
those
writing,
characters
right.
relate
Right.
to each other.
Right, that's why I wrote it 7 times. I don't
Oh.
recommend that to.
No, well, hey, but that's
I don't recommend that to any.
But that's the
writers,
process for
but
some people.
For my first time, it was a
Yeah.
learning curve for sure. I don't think
Oh,
I'd
wow.
do that again. I would do things a little differently
Differently,
next
yeah.
time because now I know, because you live and learn. So
Well, yeah, but that's what it took for you.
that's what it
Do
took
that.
for me to get. That's why it's so near and dear to me, because I
Wow.
put so much into it.
And it
so
took a
much-
lot out of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's also a cleansing process, also, isn't it? Isn't writing therapeutic?
it is.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Did you
no
feel
doubt.
that sense of the therapy when you finished
Yes.
after 5 years?
I
After
actually
7 years?
cried when I first,
Really?
when it got to me, where everything was done, and they sent
Mhm.
me the first copy,
Yeah.
and I actually physically had it in my hand. I burst.
You felt good.
I cried.
Yeah.
It just
Oh, wow.
because it's like such an accomplishment. It was for me,
Mm-hmm.
after all the time, energy, and effort I put into writing this story.
Yes.
Wow. Here it is, the finished.
You're holding it in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's got to be a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
It really
So,
is,
and I'm
too.
proud of it, and I love the fact
Mhm.
that other people like it.
Yes. Now let's talk about some of the characters.
Okay. So there's 4 main characters. There's Tammy.
Mhm.
She is a choreographer. There's Trey, and he's in the record. He's a big time record producer.
Okay.
And then there's Reds, which is Trey's friend, and they're buddies, and he's a real estate agent. And then there is Tammy's best friend, Crystal, and she owns her own hair salon.
And they intertwine with each other.
Their
Their lives come together.
Their lives come together in
Wow.
a lot of intricate and interesting ways.
Oh, meaning what?
Okay, without giving you all the full.
No, we don't want to
just-
give the whole book, but we're going to give this
Okay.
a thumbnail sketch.
So thumbnail sketch. Tammy, the choreographer, and Trey work together because Trey is the big time record producer, and Tammy is his go-to girl whenever he needs somebody to do his music videos,
Okay.
because she choreographs music videos, and so they work together in that way. Trey, big time, the hottest record producer in New York City. Anybody who wants to have any top chart music, they have to go to Trey, because
Anybody who's anybody.
anybody who's anybody goes to Trey.
Wow.
So he has all the, bright lights, flashing lights, people running after him for autographs, all those kind of things. He lives the
life.
the lime life. Tammy is not that interested in that type of lifestyle. She's a more simplistic girl. She just wants to do her work. She has her studio. She likes,
Laid back.
art, do her little art, and go home and chill. But Trey is head over heels in love with Tammy for that reason, because she's not part of the life that he is.
It's opposite.
Tammy don't want nothing to do with him, right? So here's this tangle.
Dichotomy.
Now Tammy finds another guy that she really, really likes, and he's an up and coming hip hop artist. But he's got a checkered past. He spent some time in jail. Really good guy, but he spent some time in jail, and he's trying to rebuild himself. And him and Tammy meet, fall in love. She wants to help him get his up and coming hip hop off
His
ground
career.
level, his career.
Yeah.
Off ground level. And she knows that her friend Trey can do that for him, but she can't tell Trey that they're in love, because Trey will come in between that and bust all that up.
Wow, it really is the tangle web.
It's a tangle web.
It's a tangle
Let's
web.
do it, right.
Yeah.
So Crystal, her
with 4 different spiders in it, y'all.
yeah, oh, it's a lot. So Crystal is Tommy's best friend. She kind of helps her navigate all of that, but with her own separate stuff. And Rez as well has, he comes in here and there, and is part of that tangle web as well.
Now, writing the dialogue as these characters came to you and spoke to you and told you their story, how difficult was that?
It was a lot of research involved, because I wanted to challenge myself. That's why I didn't base the story here in the DMV area, so New York City. So I had to really do some research around different,
But that's a learning experience in itself.
Right.
research, because I love
Oh,
research
yeah.
and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and also had help. I had some folks who were in the industry that helped me with different, terminology. I don't know anything about the hip hop, the music
Industry,
industry like that. And so I had other people kind of, navigate
Give
me
you
through,
pointers.
give me pointers and
Wow.
things like that. So that was, so that was
So-
work.
Okay, what I like when you do is share a piece, share a reading, if you will.
Sure. Okay, I'll do that. So I chose chapter 3, and I'll just go right into it.
Okay.
All right. Tammy sprinted across the room doing a double backflip, the bottom of her soles landing perfectly upright on the floor. Out of breath, she turned and faced her students. That's how I want it showing up on the camera, guys. I need you high in the air, okay? Synchronized. Let's do it again, this time higher, higher, raising her voice sternly. Music, she pointed in the direction of one of the young dancers posted up in the corner. Obeying her command, she pressed the play button on the loud boombox. The same song repeated for the umpteenth time. Louder, louder, turn it up, she said, fanning her arms in an upward motion. The music went up several notches as all eyes in the room watched hers intently for their starting cue. Tammy took a few steps back, moving out of the way of what was soon to be flailing arms and feet, bobbing her head to the beat of the music. 1 and 2 and go, she shouted at them. On cue, they began again. 10 robotic slinkies moving their bodies in ways most people found unimaginable. Kick up, Tammy shouted, watching their feet intently. Move your feet, Danny, she shouted, singling out the weakest link. Get 'em up, Danny. Up, up. She watched them closely as they moved in sync to the rhythm, halfway pleased with their performance. She was in her element. Ever since she could crawl, all she wanted to do was dance. Tammy's grandmother, a dancer herself, recognized her talents early on and convinced her son to place her in classes when she was only 5. Tammy excelled. Every dance instructor who had the pleasure of coaching her, and there were many, assured him that his daughter was a natural. She has a gift, one would say. She moves effortlessly, said another. Tammy mastered every genre, from ballet to Latin to jazz and swing. Tammy excelled at them all. But nothing got her feet moving like hip-hop. From the moment she was introduced to hip-hop, Tammy knew she'd met the love of her life. During high school, she dropped all other dance classes and focused solely on hip-hop. By the time she reached her senior year, she'd mastered the art so well that she was offered a full scholarship to Alvin Ailey's, one of the top performing art schools in the country. She was so excited she could hardly contain herself. She couldn't wait to tell Nana, her biggest fan. The day Tammy received the acceptance letter, she decided to take her grandmother out to lunch for the news. After a light lunch of soup and salad, Tammy took out the letter she was brandishing in her purse the whole time. She carefully handed it across the table to her grandmother as if her future depended upon it. Here, Nana, she said giddily, read this. What is it? I can't see this, child, Nana said in a frayed voice that matched her senior years. Nana reached over, picked up the reading glasses from the corner of the table where she'd laid them earlier after reading the menu. Let's see what this is all about, she said. She unfolded the crisp white paper in her hands and began to read. Eventually, her eyes grew as wide as saucers. Oh, Tammy, oh, my precious Tammy, she stuttered, her fingers trembling. Nana was Tammy's favorite person for so many reasons. She was her dearest friend, mother, and grandmother, all rolled in one. Tammy's own mother left when she was just 3 years old. The story her father tells is he went to bed one night and his wife was there. When he woke up the next morning, she was gone. No note, No suitcase, no explanation, no nothing. For months, he frantically searched for his wife. He knew she had never gotten used to being a city girl. She spoke repeatedly about wanting to move back to Africa, her home. But Sam wouldn't entertain that option. He shot the idea down every time she spoke it up, which was often in the days leading up to her disappearance. The authorities were convinced that she was alive and well and had gone back to Johannesburg, her homeland. After weeks had passed without hearing a peep from her, Sam came to the daunting conclusion that they had to be correct. He went to his mother to ask if she would keep Tammy while he went in search of her. But Nana was successful in talking him out of that idea. She watched her son slowly deteriorate for more than a year. She knew that even if he found her alive and well, this would not mean better days for him. Nana figured whatever the reason for her leaving her precious child behind, no man would induce her otherwise. So, Nana convinced her only child to let it rest. As desperately as Sam wanted his family back together, he knew deep down his mother was right. So instead of flying halfway across the world on a wild goose chase, he packed up his wife's belongings and gave it all to the Salvation Army. He gathered all of their photos together, with the exception of a few he kept, with Tammy included, and burned them. The only evidence left of her existence in his life was his daughter's chocolate brown face. Nana was there for them through it all. She took on the mother role that Tammy never knew. It was Nana who taught her how to tie the neatest bow in her shoes, how to give a perfect curtsy, and what it meant to be a strong black woman. She instilled Tammy with the self-confidence she needed to fuel her dance career. Tammy owed everything to her grandmother. She was forever grateful for the sacrifices Nana made for her. "I'm so proud of you, Tammy," she said, reaching for a napkin from the table, tears of joy streaming down her face.
Wow, how beautiful. Oh, the characters just come alive.
Ah, thank you.
You feel they just came alive when
Thank
it's
you.
like you breathe breath into them.
Oh, thank you so much. And
Wow.
that's a lighter version, believe it or not. There's a lot of juicy drama in this book.
Juicy.
That was a lighter version.
It seemed like to me like you breathe life into them and they breathe life into you. That's what it feels like. Cause I'm watching your face and I'm hearing your expression while you're reading. I'm like, wow. And it just flows.
Oh, thank you.
Did it just flow? I mean, did it just flow when you first did it? Or you had to work at it?
No, the characters flow. The characters flow. It's just flowing them together.
Yes.
Weaving them all together is what made it. I had to rewrite it several
Well, it's
times.
a web. It's definitely a web.
It is definitely a web.
So where'd you get that title from for the book?
That I knew. I one of the quotes. "Oh, what a tangle web we weave when first we inspire to conceive." It was and that
That's a quote.
was a quote.
It's from
And and it's Sir Walter Scott was the one who wrote that quote.
British author.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So so I just in the midst of the story, I saw how the web was weaving, and I thought that would be the perfect title.
Well, it is. Now let's talk about the cover.
The cover?
How the cover come about. It's simple, but it's effective.
Interesting cover.
And who did the cover?
I
your
didn't
concept?
create the cover. I created the concept. I knew I wanted something simple, black and white. I took the idea from Apple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was doing some reading on, some researching on ads, effective ads, and it was saying how Apple's ad is so effective because it's so simple and it's purposefully simple.
You can take
The
Apple,
color,
you can take Nike, you can take a lot of them. It ain't complicated.
the black and white, and how Apple used that. So I kind of snatched that idea from them. They were the hottest things at the time. So
there's power in simplicity.
very much.
Yeah, there's power in simplicity.
Very.
It really is. Sometimes people say your poems are so down to earth, and Simplistic. Well, maybe simplistic on one level.
Yeah.
But another level, maybe it's something different. So I'd like to share this piece here, the namesake for this show. It's simply entitled Color Me Poetry. Color me the man that cried I am, and that would be my eternal flame. Color me poetry, for nobody knows my name. I am the middle, past, and after. I am you, and you are me. We wear the mask of America, something old, something new. For I am poetry. I am the living experience. I am the lifelong proof. Color me the poetry of nothing but the truth. Color me a love child lost in the promised land. I am a poem for black hearts going to meet the man. I am not to be sold nor bought, so color me a scholar in the school of thought. For I am poetry. Color me a rose in the thorn. I am the timeless hopes and dreams yet unborn. I am for my people a portrait of pride. Color me the Negro who speaks of rivers deep down inside. For I am poetry. Let us lift every voice and sing of black and unknown box of long ago. Color me a song in spite of myself that all the world might know. Color me poetry, for I am poetry.
Love it, love it.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
good stuff.
So with this book, what is that you hope the reader will get from this book?
Better understanding of.
And it's about relationships.
Yeah, of relationships. That's what I was about to say.
Relationships,
Yeah, it is a relationship book. I deliberately.
It's a different kind of relationship book, though.
Yeah, and that was another reason why I chose the black and white, because I wanted it to speak to both men and women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was offered another cover that was very pretty. It was like a soft blue, and it had the spider web throughout it. And although I loved it, I rejected it because I wanted it to specifically speak to men and women.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, you guys, you know, you see a pretty colored book,
Well, yeah.
blue, and you're like,
Yeah,
that's not for me. But this book is for men and women.
And that's important you say that, because, you know, we're different, you know, but we're the same, but we're different in a lot of ways. Yeah. Did you feel that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of difficult too writing. It was easier to write the stories about the women than it was the men.
Really?
For
Why?
me. Because just capturing the
Being a woman
essence
yourself.
of
Yeah.
who a man is, for me, was, you know, coming from a woman's perspective. I just wanted to do them justice. And I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, implant my own ideas of how a man would think or feel or react in a certain situation. So that was a challenge for me too.
Wow. That brings me to this point. Without woman, a point for all women of the world. Woman is the mother of man, represents the power of the Almighty's hand. Through all the love, joy, pain, sorrow, and strife, woman is a lifeline to all human life. For where there's no she, there can be no he. And where there's no us, there could be no we. Only through the womb of woman's body and mind can man see himself in another place and time. There could be no woman, there could be no man. Without woman is co-creator in God's master plan. For he who is without woman can never be made whole until he's learned to love from the depths of his soul. And though love can sometimes make you cry, yet while you laugh, man and woman will always be each other's better half. For where there's no she, there can be no he. And where there's no us, there can be no we. Without woman.
I love that.
Oh, thank you.
I love
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Good job.
I just try to be real about what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no
you
doubt.
know. And,
Love it.
So, I don't know if you know this piece too. If I could put my hands on it, I wanted to share. This for all sisters. This is a piece for all
Oh,
the sisters.
that's one of my favorite.
Every sister. Yeah. Chocolate City Candy. Just a taste of you makes my life so complete. Learning to love you is a special treat. The little loving things you do forever makes your honey sweet. Your good and plenty loving just knocks me off my feet. You're my sugar baby, peppermint patty pearl, my M&M plain chocolate city candy girl, my lifetime lightsaber, Fifth Avenue, Lover's Lane Park, my buttered fingered whatchamacallit, such sweetness in the dark. Now and later you'll always be my Mary Jane, my baby Ruth, my mounds of almond joy. Chocolate honey sweet too. Let me be your payday sugar daddy galore. Your 100 grand, Mr. Goodbye for sure. And when you turn on your total Tootsie Roll charms, your chocolate cherry kisses make me melt on your arms. You're my sugar baby, peppermint patty pearl, my M&M plain chocolate city. Candy Girl.
I love that one.
Let me take this second to talk about my new book that's out. And I like to say it's on sale everywhere, but it's not. Eventually it will be. But right now you can get it through the Cash App. I'm using the Cash App, and also, which is Poet Danny Queen, 202-251-7743. Cash App Poet Danny Queen, but also you can get it at my website as well, which is www, of course, poetdannyqueen.com.
And who's on the cover?
This is my mentor, the late great Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, and who passed in 2016. And so it's a tribute to her, but it's a tribute to many people as well.
Yeah.
But I decided to put her on the cover because I learned many, many things from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I worked with her for many years as a recording engineer up at Howard University, and did all her lectures. And so we're looking for some good things. A lot of her lectures have been transferred from, actually when I first started doing her lectures, some years ago, I was doing them on cassette tapes, and from there we moved to CD. And so now, later this year, well next year now, it'll be available on MP3.
Oh,
So I'm looking
man.
forward to that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So
I
this
love
is-
the cover. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you very much. So this is my latest book. It's simply entitled The Book of Tributes. And give me a call, and please pick up a copy. It would be appreciated. It's a lot of work. So I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you. And
Yeah.
once again, poetdannyqueen.com, or I'm selling also on the Cash App, 202-251-7743, Poet Danny Queen.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, where can we get your books, sis?
You can find this book. It's available on Amazon
And right here at the table.
and right here at the table, as well as Kindle.
Now,
or
where's
right-
the table? We got to say where the table is. People say, what table where?
Autograph, come get your autograph copy right here at Everlasting Life, which
Yes.
is 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland. I'm here for sometimes 5 days a week, all the time.
She
Sometimes
here all the time,
more
y'all.
than that.
When she talk about entrepreneurship, she's real. Okay.
Sometimes
She's serious
more than
about that
that.
entrepreneurship.
Depending on events
Yeah.
going on, yeah. I'm
And there's
here.
always stuff going on all the time.
Always, always.
Yeah, here at
so-
the E-Life Media.
Yep.
Oh,
And so
sister.
you can get the autograph copy. I would highly recommend it.
Now, what's on the back? Let's talk about the back of the book.
It's just a picture of myself as well as a brief description
All
of
right,
what the
those
book is
subscribe,
about.
because we don't know who you all read that.
Oh no, it's about the book itself.
Oh,
But
okay, then read
But
that.
I'll read it. It says,
Yeah.
when Trey, New York's hottest hip hop producer, needs a choreographer for one of his projects, he calls Tammy. A successful artist in her own right, she's all about working hard and running her own dance studio. As much as Trey would like to move their working relationship into uncharted territory, Tammy insists on keeping her professional distance. But when Tammy starts dating Carlos, a struggling artist with a checkered past, she blurs the lines between business and friendship to get Trey to launch his aspiring career. Can Tammy and Carlos, with the help of their friends, Crystal and Reds, keep their relationship a secret from Trey? Or will the whole thing fall apart, breaking hearts, manipulating minds, and wrecking careers in the process? A passionate romance full of surprising twists and turns. A Tangled Web portrays the lives of young entrepreneurs and the intricate issues they face in relationship building.
Wow, how beautiful. How beautiful.
That's the Tangled
Wow,
Web.
Tangled Web.
Yeah.
Now, there's a piece that I'd like to share. It's not a piece that I wrote, but it's by George Clinton and James Allen, and the piece is simply entitled Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts. I'd like to get your response to this after I share it.
Okay.
Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Travel like a king. Listen to the inner voice. A hidden wisdom is at work for you. Conquering the stumbling blocks come easier when the conqueror is in tune with the infinite. Every ending is a new beginning. Life is an endless unfoldment. Change your mind and you change your relation to time. You can find the answer. The solution lies within the problem. The answer is in every question. An attitude is all you need to rise and walk away. Inspire yourself. Your life is yours. It fits you like your skin. The oak sleeps in the acorn. The giant Aquarius sleeps in its tiny seed. The bird waits in the egg. God waits for his unfoldment in man. You gravitate to that which you secretly love most. You meet in life the exact reproduction of your own thoughts. There is no chance, coincidence, or accident in a world ruled by law and divine order. You rise as high as your dominant aspiration. You descend to the level of your lowest concept of yourself. The infinite intelligence within you knows the answer. Its nature is to respond to your thoughts. Be careful of the thought seeds you plant in the garden of your mind, for seeds grow after their kind. Every thought felt as true, allowed to be accepted as true by your conscious mind, take root in your subconscious, blossom sooner or later into an act and bears its own fruit. Good thoughts will bring forth good fruit. Bad thoughts will right your flesh. Think right and you can fly. The kingdom of heaven is within.
Oh man,
What
that's
you think?
powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, truth.
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Universal truth.
Fused with truth. Yeah.
Yes. Universal truth.
Yeah. That's a heavy piece right there.
Yeah, it is. It's something to think about.
Yeah, it'd be good
Yeah.
for anybody who would want, to
Mhm.
look better, feel better, act better. To put something like that on their mirror at home
Mhm.
and read it every day.
Every day. But while you're reading it, also read this one here too.
Okay.
Pay me my money. Make sure you read that one. Just so you pay me all that I'm due. If you have to rob Peter to pay Paul, that's on you. I'm coming from all ends just to make ends meet. So I'm overworked, underpaid, and dead on my feet. Don't want to rain on nobody's parade, but I want what I need. And I'm trying to get paid. And if you don't have it, no, I won't try and understand. So pay me my money, all of my money, just as soon as you can. I can't help but to regret it because sometimes it's gone before I get it. And if I had what's due to me instead of just making do, I could pay Peter, Paul, and Mr. Bobo too. Don't mean to rain on nobody's parade, but I want what I need and I'm trying to get paid. And if you don't have it, no, I won't try and understand. So pay me my money, all of my money, just as soon as you can. Pay me my money.
No, I won't try to understand. Okay.
I wrote that some years ago. Sometimes I read that and people hear the title, they just bust out laughing. They're some kind of poet, isn't it? So I call it my reparations poem.
So that's you got a point for every subject matter. So I'm thinking, so if somebody owe you some money,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they
I don't
ducking
say
you,
nothing.
just send them that point.
I just sent it right in the mail. Special delivery.
I love it.
Can you imagine people owe you some money act like they don't?
Oh man.
Oh,
Or
man, I
borrow
just-
something and then
Yes.
you gotta ask for
You
it
gotta
back.
ask for it back.
That's my pet peeve.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
That's my pet peeve.
Yeah, I'm like, now you owe me. Oh, I didn't know I owe you. Oh, you didn't know. Please. You got
Yeah.
$100 somewhere in your pocket with my name on it.
Yeah.
And I needs my money.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like borrow, because they,
Yes, people like
borrowing different things
Yes.
from me, which I don't mind. But
Sometimes
then
they-
you got to turn around and ask for it back. I'm like, wow, that's
that.
kind
Yeah,
of
but also
rude.
there's something else. I mean, they keep it so long, they act like they forgot that it ain't there.
That's my point.
Same thing with the money.
True.
Same thing. It
That's
is.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we've been talking with Sister Alqamar Malik and her wonderful book, Tangled Web. And believe me, it's a wonderful book. Y'all go out and get this book. Go come here and get it. She's here all the time. And it's a wonderful book. That could be a movie, sister.
That's what I would love for it to be, either that
movie.
or play. I've been saying
Yes.
that's I don't know the first thing about stage plays,
Mhm.
so I keep saying that one of these days I'm putting it out there. I'm going to come across somebody who
Who can help-
does,
yeah.
and
You
that
never know.
don't mind
Because
assisting.
as you know, a lot of movies come from books.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
times, yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm sitting up there. I'm sitting up there crying.
Oh,
That
did
book,
it
I tell
touch
you
you
that
that
book.
much? Did
Yeah, I ain't other eye dry as the bone. This one here, up here, it ain't the lights, y'all. I'm just this book, man. It's got me going. But I'd like to share one last piece.
Okay.
And it's simply entitled. I read Chocolate City Candy. Now I'm gonna read Chocolate Rainbow, and it's called Shades of Black.
Okay.
Black, white, brown, red, yellow, and tan. All shades of the rainbow come from the original man. The missing link to what we as a people lack is loving who we are in all shades of black. Mocha, sepia, sable, red bone, cinnamon, mahogany, pearl. Children of the sun living in a color-struck world. Without whatever shade of ebony to ivory you might be, black is black. I am you, and you are me. You can't possess the soul essence of somebody else. So to love and know who you are is to be yourself. Beyond our shackles of sick, color-struck shame, as a people, we are all colored one and the same. The one-drop rule will always undervalue the mean, the wannabes, the jigaboos, and every shade in between. Black on black love is soul power validation, despite our brown bag, blue vein indoctrination. Intra-race prejudice, preference, and pride are reflections of a past that cannot be denied. As a human rainbow with the wind in our back, the power of self-respect comes in all shades of black. Honey brown, peanut butter, vanilla, chocolate, copper tone. Mocha, maple, nocturnal rose, grape, and brick house brownstone. Whatever shade of ebony to ivory you might be, black is black. I am you and you are me. From ruby red brown to a black walnut pecan, lemon, strawberry, peach to a beach sand colored tan. The missing length of we will ease the people like as love and who we are in all shades of black.
Beautiful.
I'm Poet Daddy Queen.
Ashe, Ashe. I just
Thank
got
you.
finished having a conversation with my daughter, who's 24, 25. And,
I thought you was 25.
and about that, you know, she has a daughter now. I'm a grandma, and we were talking about how important it is to get her culture,
Yes.
get
it's
her
important.
culture in her
Yes.
own in her own culture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, you vegan or vegetarian?
No, I do seafood every now and again.
Just eat food.
I eat seafood, yeah, but other
Down
than
there.
that, that's the gist of the meat
That's
intake. Mhm.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a blessing though.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share this last piece that's gonna make
Pigging out.
some folk mad, but I don't care.
I want to read one.
Well, you read this one. Do you read this
Alright,
one?
yeah, let me read
Go
this
ahead
one.
on.
Let me see if I can do the Danny Queen thing. Pigging out. The high you get from hog heaven is a done deal. Some folks spend a lifetime pigging out at the hogs on the hill. The way you eat and what you eat is a downright disgrace. Gotta be more mindful of just how and what you feed your face. The makeup of the pig is a rat, cat, dog, but Reverend Chicken Wing and Bishop Pork Chop are too high on the hog to make themselves stop. The devil's diet of death is for the strong and the brave. Eating on the run and running on a pig's foot will run you to your grave. Pigging out on bacon, sausage, chitlin, and ham, and too high on death to really give a damn. Well, there's a poisonous swine odor all in the air. You can bet there's a barbecue hog cooking somewhere. On the smell of smoked pig, you feel like you can just fly, but some folks spend a lifetime pigging out on a hog head high. The right way to eat will prolong life and give more life abundancy. Yet, the eating of Mr. Pig, Mr. Hog, and Mr. Swine is more deadly than HIV. So the devil's diet of death is for the strong and the brave, 'cause eating on the run and running on a pig's foot will run you in your grave. By Danny Queen, copyrighted
Now,
1995.
you did a good job with that. You ain't never seen that before. Wow.
Tell you, I love the written word.
Wow. You picked up the ribbon right away.
Oh, thank you.
Wow,
Thank
that's
you.
beautiful. This is an old piece I wrote back in the day.
1995.
95. Ooh,
Wow.
I was a baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pigging out. What made you write that?
Well, family. You know, family. Seen family
Okay.
eating all kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah?
You know? Yeah, I had a brother-in-law, you know, he had gout real bad, and so I gave him a bottle of black cherry juice. So he got pig foot in one hand and that black cherry juice in the other. I'm like, what kind of mess is that? Won't you just take put the pig foot in a bowl, take the black cherry juice and pour it on the pig feet, and eat it like that? If you're gonna do that, what's the difference? You laughing?
How do people usually respond to
Some people are offended. You mean
Okay.
to a piece like that?
Yeah.
To me, it was fun.
Yeah.
Some people are offended. You know?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
not meant to offend anybody. Not
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I'm just having fun. You
Yeah,
know. And
yeah.
because I know, you know, the way we eat sometimes we can do better. We
Absolutely.
can do better.
Yeah.
And people who watching us who do that
Yeah.
know they can do better. Because
I
I want
like-
us to live. I believe in life. Abundancy. That's what I
Yeah.
believe in. Everlasting life.
Right. And I've grown to learn that when I'm offended by certain things, that's something in me that needs that something in that lesson that I need. Something.
Yes.
Because when things don't bother you, but why
Yes.
is it bothering you?
Yeah, must be a reason. Yeah.
There's a reason, always.
There's
behind
always a lesson.
those emotions.
And that brings us right back to the Untitled Web. It's a lesson there.
Oh yeah,
And relations, because you're talking about
Many.
relationships.
many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's relationships.
Yeah, a lot of the circles I'm in, most of the people I interact with on a day-to-day basis will be considered conscious,
Yes.
and a lot of my conscious family prefer
Yes.
to read nonfiction and
Yes.
scholarly books. And so, a lot of them were so surprised. Why would you write a novel? Won't you write, something
not?
more scholarly? And I like to tell them because it wasn't for
You write for a certain audience, and for everybody.
right.
Every poem I write is not for everybody.
Right.
You know.
There's lessons in this story,
Mhm.
big time. And I mean, the story is for anybody who picks it up and read it. But when I was writing it, I had a specific people in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, certain-
those who
certain
love
demographic,
novels.
right.
Certain demographics.
Yes.
Those who love novels.
Mhm.
And those who may have some challenges as it relates to relationships, any
Yes.
type of relationships.
Yes. Mhm.
And navigating through that's who I had in mind when I wrote this book.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, because sometimes I write all kinds of stuff. I mean, stuff that is humorous, political stuff. I just do it all. You know.
Mhm.
Anything that comes to me. I have a new book, of course, coming out in June, and it's called can't even think of what it's called. Life in Full Circle, Astrological Love Points. Why? I just take each one of the astrological signs in poetic form.
Yeah,
And I've written it already. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it.
That's clever.
Yeah, so I'm doing everything. But study. I have to study everything, you know. And I
Yeah.
believe in research. I
absolutely.
believe in research. That's so important.
Absolutely, no
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah, I got a new book I'm working on too. I'm almost completed.
Okay.
Actually, too.
It ain't gonna be 7 years, is it?
No,
To give birth?
no.
Oh, okay. We wanna see that baby before 7
Yeah,
years.
yeah. But it's coming. It's a
Wow.
self-help book
Oh,
written in short story format.
Oh, really?
So I
Oh,
take
that's gonna be it.
yes, I take
Wow.
a lot of different short stories
Wow.
and break them into different scenarios,
Really?
real life scenarios
Really?
with people dealing with certain different challenges
Mhm.
and how the story plays out and how they come to the betterment of that challenge.
And that's gonna be called again?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, you
I
didn't
don't-
title it
I'm
yet?
still
coming.
playing around with titles.
Still getting, yeah, birth pains.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been talking with Alqamar Malik, and she's the author of A Tangled Web. And sister, we're looking forward to having you back, come back again on Color Me Poetry.
Thank
I've
you.
enjoyed this. The time has gone quick,
So
and
have
I
I.
thank you. I'm Poet Danny Queen, and until next time, Color Me Poetry. Go out and get the new book, Alqamar's book, The Tangled Web, and also pick up the book of tributes by Poet Danny Queen. Until next time, Color Me Poetry. Love, peace, and poetry. Peace. I'm out.
All right.